Let's also talk about why, as a trans girl, as a trans woman, growing up as a little boy was very beneficial for me. There are things that women or little girls are brought up to believe and they are indoctrinated into, and there are things that little boys are socialized to believe and grow up into. And these are the early, let's say, early prerequisites for gendered indoctrination as a man or as a woman. Growing up as a boy, there was freedom that I had in terms of like playing with my brothers and like playing video games and being active outside. And obviously in my head I was a tomboy, and I still am. I would still consider myself a tomboy who just likes to be pretty. Like, I'm a girl who likes to do fun things, adventurous things, but I also like to be cutesy while doing it. So, and of course there are many, like, some of these things are not exclusive to boys, but this is just my experience. Obviously there are many girls that are like tomboys and grew up with, you know, male siblings or male cousins, and they probably have a very similar upbringing in that regard. But specifically, I was never brought up to believe, like, oh, you have to be a wife one day, you have to be a mother one day, you have to have kids one day. Those things were never indoctrinated into me. Those are things that I'm still trying to figure out if I want now as an adult, but as a child, those things were never forced upon me. So I'm grateful for that. The Obviously the downsides were like the social aspects of things, how I was forced to dress, how I was forced to act, my actions being policed, not being masculine enough, or constantly, ever since I was little, I've always been like, people, even when I was in school, people would ask me, are you a boy or are you a girl? I've always gotten that question, and it had to do with my looks, but it also had to do with innately who I am. People can pick up on your energy whether they want to acknowledge it or not. And it's been very obvious that my energy has been very feminine ever since I was born. So it's undeniable. The other benefit to me growing up as a boy and not having those pressures is that it forced me to, as much as I would have loved to be able to participate in feminine glamour magic, so to speak, like makeup and hair and growing my hair out and all of those things, because I wasn't able to do those things, it forced me to be very inquisitive, read a lot of books. That's something that I'm trying to get back into now, is just reading more. I think it would benefit all of us. But as a kid, I read, like, my family, we would go to the library quite often, and my brothers and I would get books and we would see like how quickly we could finish all of our books. So in terms of like who I am as a person, I had to develop, I was able to develop the critical thinking skills, the curiosity for life, and just wanting to, just always being a sponge. I've always wanted to learn as much as I can. And I feel like I'm a person who understands, even if I don't know something, if you give me the gist of something, I can I can understand it. I can get around to the train of thought, or, doesn't matter what the topic is. And then growing up, after I left my parents' home and I lived with some other family, then my early 20s, from like 18 to all the way through my early to mid 20s up until now, is when I've been able to figure out all of the feminine things. So I'm well rounded as a person. And I think ultimately that's what I'm trying to communicate, is that because I wasn't able to develop in the way that I would have liked to, it still benefited me. It still allowed me to gain knowledge and intellect, as well as be who I am now and be who I've always wanted to be. So there was a lot of trauma, but I was able to make the most of it.